Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to be joined via Zoom by my good pal Lee. How are we, mate?
Very good, mate. A bit tired. I've been up since R4, but it's what it is.
Yeah, tired like the rest of us boxing community, trying to keep our eyes open today.
I've had
We're gonna
little
jump
man.
straight in.
I had no rest. I just had little man running about like a lunatic. So it's
Does
all
he
good,
stay up
man.
and watch the fights with you?
Nah, I didn't make him. I didn't make him for this. The others he does, but not this.
Yeah. Well, look, last night, let's jump straight in. We saw the end to Trilogy, which has really sort of defined this era of heavyweights in a way. Just how brilliant, first off, inside and outside the ring has this whole sort of saga been for boxing.
Yeah, it's been mad, isn't it? Because obviously the first fight, obviously got robbed blind. Obviously the 12th round, how he ever got up from that, I'd never know. But then to go into the second fight and obviously absolutely destroy Wilder, and then Wilder come with all these silly things with gloves, fucking cheating allegations and stuff like that. And then obviously it was draining for everybody involved. Obviously for Tyson and that, it was shit, and then obviously it got postponed because of COVID and stuff like that. So and then last night I thought it's literally one of the best fights I've seen live. Not live, obviously, but I watched on the telly. Absolutely unbelievable. Just non-stop action, loads of knockdowns. In that fourth round, I was like, hands on my head, thinking, shit. So, but Tyson showed his class. He's the best heavyweight out there, and he showed last night. Great KO.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the fight in a little bit more detail, but just before that, there seemed to be like a bit of a delay before the ring walks, and I see a couple of tweets from people over in the States, some journalists saying that it had to do with Team Wilder being unhappy with the gloves. Obviously, you know all about that sort of side of the sport. You've been in changing rooms before, big tense fights. What can genuinely be done about them sort of factors literally 10 minutes before you're going to walk?
Nothing, because every title fight, every world title fight, you have a rules meeting with the commission, with like the WBC, WBO, and stuff like that. And you have a rules meeting where everybody chooses their gloves. So you've got 3 sets of gloves. So if Wilder wanted Everlast, he has his Everlast. The Fury wants Pathan, he'll have his Pathan. So they'll be laid out, and obviously they'll try them all on and everything like that. And they're all signed by the fighter and signed by the commission, and then they will be taken away by the referee or by the commissioner. And that's it. Them gloves are gone. They're picked. They're done. Everything's done. Obviously, if a fighter's not happy with a certain glove, we've all done it. Obviously, I see Paul Smith was getting them to get weighed the other day. A lot of this is mind games. But obviously, if they ain't happy with the gloves, and obviously normally the champion gets a choice of gloves. If he wants the other fighter to wear certain set of gloves, it can be contractually in a contract that could be you've got to wear these certain gloves. But obviously, but that is all sorted out when the fight's made as well. But other than that, there's nothing really that can be changed because, like you see, like JD's was in that changing room watching him get his hands wrapped, then watching him get his gloves on. It's just standard practice. Like, I think it's all just mind games from Wilder. Nothing can happen like at a late stage. You're not changing gloves and stuff like that. No way in a million years.
Yeah, well, thankfully they did ring walk at what felt like 8 in the morning, but yeah, loads to talk about. Let's start with how Deontay approached round 1. So it kind of looked like we'd seen a bit of a reform. There was a bit of work behind the jab, some jabs to the body and that.
Done a good job with him, but then listen, Tyson was just obviously just feeling him out, just being Tyson. And then obviously it was just once he got after the first round, and then you see Tyson just he knows what he's been in the ring with him. That's the 3rd time, so he knows any other fighter he's boxed. So And the first knockdown, everyone, I bet everyone was just jumping about and that, thinking, yeah, we're ready to go now. And then obviously when he knocked him down twice in 1 round, I was like, no, please. I was like, but yeah, no, I thought it was a very, very, very good performance from Wilder, but also a very good performance from a great performance from Tyson. But if I was obviously brave corner, like you said, obviously Max said he's not going to throw the towel in, but how they were sending him out for the last couple of rounds, it was like he weren't even there. Do you know what I mean? He was like his arms drooping down and everything like that. Normally, if that was a normal trainer that's gonna cares for their fighter, wouldn't be sending him out with the best heavyweight in the planet like that. So it's a bit odd, but obviously he's going to get his paycheck. He don't want to be falling out with him and stuff like that. I understand his reasons, but if that was me, obviously I'm not a trainer, but if that was me or one of my fighters, I would have been quite happy for him to be pulled out a couple of rounds before.
Yeah, do you think there's a little bit about Wilder that almost because of what happened in the second fight with Breland and whatnot, that if he was going to be beaten, he kind of wanted to be beaten to the point where he can't make an excuse. He almost wanted to be beaten up.
Yeah, how it
Yeah.
happened. He got chinned. I understand that. That's how he wants as a fighter. Obviously, that's how some fighters don't want to be carried out. They'd rather be carried out or knocked out. But still, he's got a family. He's got to go home to his family. So I'd be thinking, if I was his trainer, I'd be thinking of his health rather than his pride.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't covered himself in glory at times, like you said about the excuses after the second fight and whatnot. But I suppose we can say categorically that maybe for the first time in his career, he showed real heart and real bollocks as well, Wilder.
Yeah, no, 100%. And listen, he's a world-class heavyweight. There's no doubt about it. But I would absolutely love to see Wilder versus AJ. That'd be, listen, that won't even last 6 rounds. So
That's just a straight shootout, isn't it? Is that just a straight shootout?
I think so. I think it's just a shootout. Yeah. But Wilder's still got a future in sport. He's made a lot of money from the Fury fights. He never made nowhere near that sort of money till he fought Tyson, and now he's had 3 paydays. So they've all earned a fortune off each other. So fair play to them. Now Tyson just with Tyson, who does he fight next? Obviously, Usyk's going to fight Joshua March or April. Obviously, Tyson's got his rematch. Well, not his rematch, he's mandatory. But Dillian's in a tough fight. A very, very tough fight. So it could be a rematch with Wallin.
Yeah, but we know with the heavyweights, we never sort of get what we want, do we? It's been like the last couple of years, it's always been up and down. But then I suppose that's with every division in boxing. Then.
Listen, Dillian's he's a world-class heavyweight, but he's obviously, you've seen that he can be knocked out. So you never know with him. But listen, he's a very, very good fighter. I would love to see the build-up for Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury. The press conference is the way in to be absolutely brilliant, wouldn't they?
No, don't get me wrong there. So Tyson and Dillian, or Tyson and Alexander, there'll be 2 very different build-ups. It'll be almost like 2 chess players and then 2 people just going at each other. But they're sort of 2 fights that, I suppose, are they 2 fights that, not 2 fights Tyson needs, but are they sort of the logical steps then to get rid of a mandatory and then fight Alexander Usyk?
Yeah, 100%. I think he beats both of them. I think Usyk will be a tough fight, but Usyk's not going to do what he did with AJ against Tyson. Tyson's boxing brain is a million times better, in my opinion. But and I think he beats. Yeah, I think he beats them all. I don't think there's anyone out there that can beat Tyson Fury.
Yeah. Do you think we learned anything about Tyson last night that we didn't already know?
That he's got a massive set of bollocks. It's just a typical. I don't know. It's hard really because you've seen him get up from big knockouts, knockdowns. You've seen his boxing ability. I think we've seen everything we see last night already, but it's just how Wilder approached the fight. It was a different sort of approach, sort of thing. So you just see how good of a heavyweight he is.
Yeah. Obviously, we saw him come out and say after that Deontay didn't want to give him respect and whatnot. You've spent a lot of time around Tyson. How does he speak of Wilder? Because although he winds him up like rotten in these build-ups, it actually seems like the respect kind of works only one way.
Listen, Tyson's respectful to everybody. Obviously, I don't know him as well as a lot of people, but he's always been very respectful to me, to everybody around him. He's never ever been disrespectful to anybody. He's always got time for everyone, and for someone to go that many rounds with someone, he's 100% respects Wilder. But for Wilder not to give him that respect back, I think it's a dog move.
Yeah. Do you think that's just sort of a heat of the moment thing? Because obviously this discussion was in the ring, and he had just been sort of pretty
I
much
don't know.
bludgeoned.
He ain't come out and said, "Look, he's the better man" or anything like that. He's just come. I got beat. I wasn't good enough. So he ain't gonna say, "No, I got beat by the better man" or anything like that. He said, "I wasn't good enough."
Yeah.
So he's still not giving him the respect.
Yeah. Do you reckon one day they might do one of these Frotch and Groves tours, or is that off the cards, do you reckon?
I don't know. Be
Fucking
quite
no
funny.
chance.
I'd pay for a ticket.